ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ACME Radio Hour. Now, folks, I do have some bad news. Sadly, due to an unfortunate Zeppelin accident, the scripts for tonight's show have been lost and there will be no broadcast. I'm sorry, good night, there will be no refund. What, you don't like that, do you? Well, I suppose we could just make something up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be bringing you the finest in improvised 1940s-style radio entertainment. Now, in order to start us off, what we need is a genre, one of those classic genres of radio. In order to get that, we have the Wheel of Fate, coincidentally brought for another purpose. Now, is anyone celebrating an anniversary or a birthday this evening? What about you, sir? Just celebrating actually being here at the theater? Fantastic. What's your name? Brett, let's give Brett a big round of applause as he comes up on stage. Brett, come on up. Brett, welcome. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for dressing the part. That's a lovely fedora. Now, Brett, as you can see here on the Wheel of Fate, take a step back there if you would, we have the various genres that we can perform tonight. We have mystery, adventure, detective, horror, kid sleuth, science fiction. You choose or spin again. Now, Brett, spin the Wheel of Fate. Ignoring its horrible curse. It's a detective! Let's give Ben a big round of applause. Well spun, sir. Well spun. All right, now, folks, in order to do a detective, we need the title of a detective story that's never been written or performed. So just throw some nouns and verbs together and give us a title for tonight's show.
Aliens.
I'm sorry, apparently we landed on science fiction. I didn't notice. No, it's a detective story, and here in the 40s we don't know very much about aliens, especially not where detectives are concerned. Something like the Maltese Falcon, or the Clock Struck at Midnight, or the Dame with the Crazy Gams. You know, something like that. The Maltese Circle. All right, then, the Maltese Circle. We'll take the title, The Maltese Circle. In order to have a show now, we have to have some players, some characters. So, first of all, give me a lady's name. What's your name, ma'am? What's your name? Summer. Excellent, Summer. Now we need a last name, something 40s sounding for Summer. DeVille. Summer DeVille. Excellent. Summer DeVille. And now we need a strong man's name. Go ahead and throw out a strong man's name. Clark. Clark what? Oh, from over here. Or back to over here. Clark Wimbledon. Why, if there was ever a strong hero, going to be Clark Wimbledon. And now we need a character-y name, a lady's character-y name from the 40s. Perhaps your grandmother's name. Gertrude. Gertrude Rose. Gertrude Rose is our next lady's name. And now sort of a funky name for a dude. Or a fella. Chip what? Chip Jackson. Chip Jackson. Why, he sounds strong and heroic. Now I need a lady's name, a young girl's name. Princess. We'll just stop at Princess. That's fantastic. And finally, I need a one-word name that's scary, that puts the fear into you. Perhaps something foreign-sounding. It's the 40s, after all. Haroop. Haroop is our name. Haroop. Now, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, radio isn't free, so we need a couple of sponsors for tonight's show. First of all, what's something you would find in the household here in the 1940s? Cocoa. Excellent. Great. And what's your last name?
My last name is Sinclair.
Sinclair's Cocoa. Sinclair's Cocoa. And now something that the gentleman of the house would purchase here in the 1940s. Shaving cream. But what kind of shaving cream? What? Hassif shaving cream. Hassif shaving cream. Excellent. And now let's get a service. What's something you would have to pay for here in the 40s to have somebody else do for you? Deliver milk. Excellent. And we need, let's get who would make a product here in the 40s. What's a company that made things in the 40s? Carnation. Well, that's a coincidence. Carnation Milk Delivery Service. Fantastic. Well, let's review what we have. We have Summer DeVille. We have, is there any way we get some light over there on the side? No, I'm asking for too much. I should be happy just to have one spotlight. we have Clark Wimbledon, Gertrude Rose, Chip Jackson, Princess Haroop. And our show is, of course, brought to us by a bunch of sponsors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, I've enjoyed my time with you, but I am not your host for tonight's show, no. That honor and privilege belongs to our host for tonight, the man with the face of radio. Please give a large round of applause for Mr. Craig St. Olofsson.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending tonight's show. I apologize for the crush of the crowd as you entered. We can only meet so much capacity in this theater. Welcome to our preview show tonight at the ACME Radio Hour. Tonight, of course, you will be using not your eye bones, but your ear bones, as we enter a world of imagination and storytelling, where you will listen carefully, and if you learn all the clues, you may be able to solve the mystery just before our detective does. Now, speaking of our cast, let's bring out the Liquid Radio players, because we can't have a show without our players. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Liquid Radio players. Ladies and gentlemen, some of the highest paid radio actors were not available. So we have the Liquid Radio players here tonight, especially for this show. Now, of course, you're going to meet the cast of characters in tonight's detective story, The Maltese Circle, brought to you by Carnation Milk Delivery, Sinclair's Cocoa, and of course, Hasef Shaving Cream. The shaving cream I don't hesitate to use at the right moments. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the story tonight by our cast of returning characters. First of all, in the starring role as Detective Clark Wimbledon, Dave Cox, ladies and gentlemen. Clark Wimbledon, first American golf pro and detective. When he wasn't out leisurely on the greens of Wimbledon, where his family estate was, and it turned into an extravagant 22-hole golf course, Clark Wimbledon often found himself in mysteries and was a part-time detective when he wasn't teaching wealthy ladies golf lessons. He often had their ear and told them, listen to their troubles, and was able to put two and two together. He had gotten an extra golf club set or two in his day, but the local police chief certainly wasn't happy having him nosing around with his unusual shoes. Clark Wimbledon. Also tonight, Clark Wimbledon wouldn't be found anywhere without his caddy, Chip Jackson, played by Steve Benequist. Oh, Chip Jackson, he's been a painter, a bookkeeper, a driver. Why, he was even enlisted in the Army before his flat feet got him kicked out. Right out of Korea, where there wasn't a war yet. Well, Chip Jackson only had one career choice left, and that was to haul golf clubs around and give his sage advice to Clark Wimbledon during their mysteries. Of course, it helped that because of carrying the golf clubs for so long, Chip's right arm was as strong as 3 right arms. And that put people who were out of line back in line quick. Chip Jackson, everybody. Also tonight is Gertrude Rose, Sue Peel. Vivacious. Young, beautiful. These were words people used to describe Gertrude Rose, whose name was barely as beautiful as she was. She was a young ingenue who had come to Hollywood in hopes of breaking into the talkies. Would her unusual accent keep her from that? We don't know. She was originally from a small area called Malta. She will tell us much about tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Gertrude Rose. And of course, tonight, as Princess Marissa Afanador. Why, Princess was only known by the name Princess due to her high stature in European royalty. No one dare spake her last name, as she was the last of her line in a country that was no longer on the map, but only in the history books. She was a gypsy of royalty. She only had her few remaining riches and unusual laws that were only applied to her. Yes, Princess, what did she want in the world, really? What was she after? She wanted her country back. She wanted a place in the world. And she would do nothing less than it took to do it, as ruthless as she would be required. Princess. Also tonight you may hear an unusual name, Haroop. I suggest you sit down when you hear this name, as the menace that is Haroop could scare you directly through the radio airwaves. Haroop. Who is he? What does he want? Is his head supposed to be like that? Maybe you'll find out tonight. Haroop. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been told that our scripts are ready. They've been quickly typed up in the back. Oh, wait, never mind. Of course, I forgot. On loan from MGM Studios, as Summer DeVille, Kimberly Lewis. How could I forget? But Summer DeVille was forgettable, unfortunately for her. She had led a rather unremarkable life. A plain woman who worked at the greengrocers in the accounting department. Why, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who even remembered her name at all, Summer DeVille. But there was something unusual and special about Summer DeVille, and she was going to get a telegram today to tell her just that. An unusual lineage that put her in an unusual position of an unusual inheritance of the circular nature. Would Summer DeVille's life be any different today than it was yesterday? Unequivocally, yes, but she had no idea. Summer DeVille. Ladies and gentlemen, now I believe our scripts are ready. An additional 20 pages have been added to cover Summer DeVille's part. And they're going to be passed out to our cast right now. Now, I want to warn you, you may hear an encroaching army approaching of brigadier generals. Or you may hear someone try to enter this theater through force. Don't worry. The brigadier generals are not invading the theater. It's only the Foley artistry of Gary Ray and Paul Hungerford. Also tonight, if you find yourself dreaming in color, you have only to thank the musical goodness of Jonathan Green on keyboard tonight. The special piano provided by Steinway with an additional 20 keys. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been given the finger. We're about to go on the air. In 3, 2, 1. I am mystery. Your missing sock. That body on the porch. The kidnapping. That mysterious Christmas gift. I am mystery, and I welcome you to my domain. Tonight, in a series of continuing adventures, we join Golf Detective Clark Wimbledon in episode number 16, The Maltese Circle. A story with an ending so bizarre, you may be required an explanation about it. But if you follow the clues, you can follow along and put together who really possesses the Maltese circle and what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an ordinary day. The birds are chirping, and it's another sunshine-filled afternoon in Los Angeles, California. A perfect day for golf, but much too late, 10 a.m. Clark Wimbledon had long finished his third round of golf, his second instruction, and his fourth martini. He was just stopping by the greengrocer's to pick up a few things, saying hello to the familiar clerk there, and of course, there was that strange woman behind the counter who never said much.
Hello, Martha, Steve, Sammy.
Hello, Clark.
Hello, Clarky.
Good to see you, Clark.
Just came by to pick up some more martini olives.
Got them all bagged up for you.
Well, thank you. Well, who might this be?
Hello, Mr. Wimbledon?
Yes, that's what the name embroidered on my sweater says.
I've noticed you here quite a bit. My name is Somerville. I'm sure you wouldn't remember me. Why would you?
Now, I do seem to recall an SD on the bottom of my monthly grocery receipts.
Why, he had an eye for detail like no other. He put the clues together in his own mind to tell something about her that she couldn't have told anyone.
Let me guess. You work in the accounting department here. You attended stenography school, probably on the East Coast, and came out here probably 3, maybe 4 years ago. Am I right?
That's incredible. You're a genius, but I've already taken up too much of your time.
She didn't want to, but she had to. She knew about Clark Wimbledon's other hobby besides golfing. Why, detecting. She held up her trembling hands with a strangely shaped package with postmarks from all over the globe on it, and a telegram that had been covered in tears and then rumpled up and then unrolled again.
And yet, somehow, I feel I can trust you.
Well, of course you can. I'm very wealthy.
That's good. I'm not. At least not yet that I know of. Oh!
Well, you know, some people possess the wealth of money, and other people possess a wealth of experience, of beauty, or... Well, I suppose you're not very wealthy.
He grabbed her wrist and led her to a quiet stairwell where they could talk.
Come over here into this alcove.
Oh, it's much more private here, thank you.
It certainly is. Don't mind if I smoke a cigarette, do you?
Why, certainly not. Are those Chesterfields?
Why, they are Chesterfields, the smoothest smoking cigarette.
She got to the point, and her trembling hand handed over the telegram, and her finger trailed along the final sentence.
Be careful. Someone is trying to kill you.
What? Where?
That's the last line of the telegram.
Oh, it was written to you, I see, yes.
Just then, Chip Jackson burst in.
Hey, Clark, I'm double parked out there, and the copper's getting down my neck.
Huh. Well, it looks like we've got more than another round of golf, my friend. It looks like we've got a mystery!
Why are you sitting in here alone? Oh, excuse me.
It's all right. I barely remember I'm around myself.
It seems this lady has received a mysterious package from far away, and someone's attempting to kill her.
Well, I think our job is clear then.
He grabbed the package and started opening it, but the woman's hand interrupted him.
Oh boy, is it hotcakes? What could be in here?
She pointed at the first line of the telegram.
It says, Dear Miss DeVille. That's my name. You don't know me, and I don't know you. But soon this shall all make sense.
If he doesn't know you, how could he find your address? That seems odd.
Stop! Sorry, that was in the telegram.
Oh, I see. Continue.
Wasn't telling you to stop.
Oh.
That was all the telegram said, and the unusual package, which seemed to want to be opened, but she was terrified to open it.
I'm afraid, you see. I'm only a woman.
Yeah, I understand. Leave it to a man to open it.
Sure. You know, I have a pair of tongs back in my office. Perhaps you should accompany us there now.
All right.
She gave her notice to her boss and left with them into their extended golf cart that they used to drive around in. Meanwhile, in a...
Hold your head on. There's no roof.
Meanwhile, in a ship that was just pulling into the docks of Los Angeles, a dirty, filthy ship on the outside, but on the inside, a luxurious, secretive getaway that only a princess might command.
Why, yes. I see the shores. So far away from the country of Latunia, taken from my father, taken from me. A new land. Nay, I want my old land back. I have but a satchel of trinkets, but what's more, I have my wits about me. And by golly, I will do everything it takes to get it back.
She was talking, of course, to Harup, who stood there, hunched as he must, to be able to be contained in the 8-foot-tall cabin.
That's right, Harup.
He finished his sandwich and then spoke.
It's delicious, isn't it?
Yes, but not as delicious as the delis of Los Angeles.
Well,
Enough! Now get your mind on the right thing. We're on a mission.
Yes, my lord. My lord princess.
That's right, get it straight.
Hey, who stole my sandwich?
We've been discovered. What will we do?
Throw acid on him. We don't need him anymore.
he grabbed him with one hand and crushed him.
Here you go. There's your sandwich. Crunching out of your own innards.
Was Harup evil or merely following orders? We will never know what goes on inside his unusual shaped mind. But I know what goes on inside of my unusual shaped mind. After a day of golfing, I want a cup of Sinclair's cocoa.
Mom, I'm home from school.
Charlie, why you're looking pallid?
What? That's because I'm low on sugar.
Well, lucky for you, I have a fresh piping hot cup of Sinclair's cocoa.
Well, that's my favorite. I thought we couldn't afford that during these war times.
No. Why, it's just pennies on the dollar. Drink up, my boy.
Delicious. Well, now that I have my energy back, I see you wearing a burlap sack dress. Did you go without so that I could have Sinclair's?
Why, you're gonna grow up strapping and strong, just like your father. And I'll do
God rest his
anything it
soul.
takes.
Thanks, Mom, and thanks, Sinclair's cocoa.
Sinclair's cocoa. Yes, Sinclair's cocoa. When you have to sacrifice something, don't let it be the cocoa. When we last left our story, Clark Wimbledon had met up with Somerville and was just finished debriefing her in his office as she was on her way out when there was another knock on the door. Another womanly knock, actually.
Would you like me to get that?
I don't know. It does sound like a woman's knock, so dainty and tentative.
I'll open the door.
Thank you, Mr. Ville.
Summer DeVille opened the door and excused herself to go to the powder room.
You can take your choice. There are 16 of them. Hello, yes? Can I help you?
Why, hello.
Of course he could help her. He recognized her immediately. Gertrude Rose.
Wait a minute. You're Gertrude Rose.
That's right. I'm famous in my country for stage plays. Perhaps you've seen me in the magazine. And I have come to Hollywood to be a famous star of screen.
Yes, of course. My gardener subscribes to Bubble.
Yeah,
Also, I saw you in a production of Medea in Vienna.
She dropped a piece of paper on his desk. It was an order from the studio for her to take golf lessons.
I'm preparing for a role, and I hear that you're a golf expert.
Why, yes, I am.
Well, There, I've been ordered. So here's a big sack of money in gold and silver.
That's quite old-fashioned, but I do enjoy hard currency. All right, I'm assuming that this...
Is this your putter over here?
Why, yes, it is. Be careful. It's easily dented.
So strong, so worn.
I don't let a lot of ladies wrap their hands around my putter.
Tell
No.
me I'm not the first.
They made an appointment and she slunk out. Why, Clark Wimbledon couldn't help but be distracted, and just then, of course, Summer DeVille made her way back in, looking ever so slightly fresher.
Right, I don't know why you'd need a golf for a Tarzan movie.
She turned her attention back to his desk where there was a conspicuous empty space. The strange package she had received. It was gone.
Mr. Wimbledon,
Yes?
my package, where is it? We were just about to open it.
Ah, yes. Did you take it to the powder room?
Well, why no? I was too frightened.
Are you sure? Ladies are always taking things to the powder room and then leaving them behind.
No.
They ran to the powder room and opened it up.
Was it this powder room? Oh, sorry.
No, it was the other powder room across the hall.
All right, let's check over here. The emerald powder room?
No, not the emerald powder room. Was
No.
it was turquoise in color.
A turquoise? I don't even have a turquoise. But oh, wait, no. Of course, yes. I've got it down the hall here. And there, was it this powder room?
Yes,
The one with the
but-
dolphin?
Yes, but I don't see the package.
Madam, I believe you have been robbed.
Oh, I didn't even know what was in it. I'm not sure how to feel.
That was when Chip Jackson limped in. He had been badly beaten.
You never believe how many guys jumped me.
Chum, how many, chum?
6.
6.
Would you believe 6?
Well, you are pretty badly beaten. I believe 6.
Yeah, and there was a dame among them. It was 6 and a dame.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. I only see 3 different fist imprints on you.
Yeah, you gotta look at my kidneys real close. How come you're standing here alone? Oh, excuse me.
It's all right. It's fine.
Somebody absconded with their package, Chip.
Why?
We've got a mystery.
There was a lady running by. She was the dame. The lady was the dame.
The lady was the dame?
The lady was a dame, and
She
she
get
was
in some-
holding something.
Did she get in some licks?
She did.
He
Right in the-
described the something in great detail. In fact, it was what had been inside the package and was free from the package when it had run by him after beating him up.
You know, I was a bomb inspector before they kicked me out of the Army. I could feel through packages and
Yes,
touch
of
things
course. Yes, I'm very familiar with your record.
with 32% accuracy.
Yes. That's pretty good.
What he described was something, of course, that resonated exactly with Clark Wimbledon. Back to the archaeology class he had in golf school.
Well, you see, it was round, almost circular, you would say.
Wait a minute. I recognize that.
He rushed to his bookcase.
Look in this book. No, that's
A
not
third
that.
of a
That's
cubit thick,
No, that's a different novel. All right, I'll go over here. No,
semi-disc-like.
Ah, that is familiar. Yes, right. I'll look in
And
here.
there might have
Aha!
been some
There it
runes.
is. What? I'm sorry?
Runes on it.
All right, I'll turn that. Aha! That's it.
There it was. The Maltese Circle.
The Maltese Circle.
That's what was in the package?
Yes, madam. Were you born in Malta?
She pulled down her left shoulder dress, revealing a strange marking on her shoulder area.
This birthmark, I always thought it was a birthmark, but it's strangely shaped just like the country of Malta.
He rushed to the bookcase.
I was also a
goodness.
cryptographer.
Oh, well, maybe I don't need to go to the bookcase then. What do you have to say, Chip?
Well, my accuracy was only 19%.
Well, maybe I'd better look it up in the book then.
Go ahead.
All right, let's see. Aha! Apparently, every third girl child born in Malta is branded with the shape of the country.
Oh, it's all coming together.
It made so much sense, he could hardly realize how he'd missed it earlier.
Oh, I should have recognized your gait as the gait of someone from Malta.
Is there anything else about women who were born with this birthmark?
He turned the
what with that
page
gait?
and saw the unusual international law that applied to her and the circle.
Apparently, a true daughter of Malta who possesses the circle, the Maltese circle, can lay claim to the throne of Malta.
Me? Why, I'm...
As I said, 1 out of every 3 women is branded with it, so there's a lot of you, frankly. I mean, it's not that special.
He unrolled a gigantic map which showed the original area Malta covered. It was nearly twice as big as Europe.
Let me roll out this buckskin. As you can see here, In ancient days, Malta took up this area.
France.
So it's quite valuable, this circle, and my possible lineage and connection to Malta.
Yes, you and 1 out of 3 Maltese women, yes.
We should put that shoulder in a safe.
And just as he lifted and covered it, the window shattered open and a giant hulking figure appeared. Was it Carnation Milk Delivery? We'll find out after a word from this sponsor, Carnation Milk Delivery.
Darling, I'm getting sick and tired of having all these cows in the foyer.
I completely understand. The stench is overcoming me by day. I think I have solved our problem, dear.
What? Is there another way to get fresh milk besides having a bunch of pole-bred Herefords in the foyer?
Yes. See those boxes over there? The boxes of white powder?
I certainly do.
Shake some into your glass of water, dear.
All right. What? Did a cow get in here?
Oh, darling, that's carnation powdered milk. Why, if it's good enough for our boys overseas, it's good enough for our soldiers at home.
Why, this is delicious and filled with vitamin M. Darling, get my shotgun. I'm going to take care of our little cow problem.
Right away, dear. Thanks, carnation milk.
Carnation
milk.
Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy some Carnation Milk, now with delivery. And, of course, I myself drink 6 cartons every day. But I still keep cows, but only as pets and furniture. Thanks, Carnation. When we last left our story, Clark Wimbledon's office was being torn into splinters by an unusually shaped monster's head. Of course, Clark Wimbledon swore to never carry a gun, so he pulled out the next best thing.
Oh, my 9-iron.
I'll get it for you, Chip. Here you go.
Thanks.
I mean, Clark.
Watch out behind you!
Up and
They wrestled The Haroop just shrugged off the hit and smiled, which looked like a frown.
It only make Haroop's head more misshapen.
And just then, a female's voice called out. Yes.
Yes, my lord.
He froze mid-grab and turned his attention to the unusual woman that, of course, Clark Wimbledon immediately sensed was evil.
Here, is this what you're looking for?
She threw down a square-shaped wooden object.
Nope.
Well then, what about this?
She threw down a hexagon made of wood.
Closer, but no.
What about this? Look at this wise guy.
She had pulled out a pistol, a long, unusually shaped pistol. It was pointing at him, but the barrel was pointing at Summer DeVille.
She can see me. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Don't you get mixed up in this nonsense. This is our business. You just stay out on the links, eh?
Why, that's right. But sometimes I get a hole in one.
Try as you might.
It's a euphemism for solving a mystery.
I don't need to play golf to understand you, brother. Just nose out.
She
Wait a
demanded the Maltese Sarko.
I'd recognize that stance anywhere. You're royalty of some sort.
That's right.
He curtsied reflexively.
Oh, hello.
That's right.
Are you Maltese royalty? Because if that's so, we can just sort of wrap this up right now.
You could say so.
She pulled down her right shoulder dress area.
Don't show them.
That's Princess of Latunia. Malta tried to make Latunia into a golf course over by the Mediterranean. And they'll be darned if they will. So I will take over as royalty.
Wait a minute. I'm afraid that birthmark's the wrong shape, Princess.
He turned it upside down.
Look, it's Latunia, not Malta.
Yes, But this is mine. And who's gonna prove it otherwise? You flatfoot?
Well, sure. I don't think I need to prove it. Americans are taught well in geography. Why, we have the finest educational system in the world. Many small children can point out Malta and Latunia on a map.
Haroop, deck him!
Oh!
The lights went out.
My clavicle!
For Clark Wimbledon, shots rang out. Chip Jackson screamed like a girl. Later, across town, outside of a highway where cars were streaming by in high numbers, of course, it was beach day, where everyone was going to the beach in their pantsuits to celebrate. Deep below that, in an underground bunker, was a series of figures tied to posts, Clark Wimbledon being one of them, and he was the first to rouse. There was none other than that alluring woman, Gertrude Rose, sarcastically clapping him awake.
Yeah, I'd recognize that sarcastic clapping anywhere. Gertrude Rose, what are you doing here?
Rise and shine, nine iron.
All right, but I'm lashed to this pole. I'm not going to do much shining.
He looked down at his feet. Why, he'd recognize the sight of that liquid anywhere. It was kerosene.
What? I'm no candle.
That's right. You have learned my family's secrets. And now that I am in the same town, in the same country as my two sisters, my two other branded sisters.
He looked to his left and to his right, and tied to similar posts were, of course, Somerville and Princess.
What? What gives?
True royalty shall emerge. Sorry, sisters.
Wait a minute, she's branded with Malta, she's branded with Latunia. What do you have on your shoulder, sister?
She pulled down her shoulder area of cloth.
This!
What? America?
That's right. I've come to become Queen of America and Malta and Latunia.
My great-great-grandfather didn't fight for Virginia to have some Maltese biddy come in just to take over this country.
It seemed as if this was about to end. She was holding a match over the kerosene, and just then, great, monstrous sobs were heard. It was Haroop, and he was holding a ship's cannon as a gun.
You will not become Queen of America.
Haroop, are you crazy?
I am Queen of America.
He pulled down his shoulder to reveal that he was a woman.
Oh! That was unexpected.
Oh, that hurt Haroop's feelings.
My God! If you're a woman, why don't you shave? Have you never heard of
Hassef shaving cream. Let's take
Hassef shaving cream?
What?
That's right, Hassef shaving cream. Just rub a little on, and your razor glides right over those hairy legs.
She quickly demonstrated on him. Her.
Leg, arm, chest.
Up.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Now, her legs were silky smooth with Hassef shaving cream, but she was still a monstrous criminal with a gigantic cannon pointed at him, the cannon's barrel waving between them. Who would he decapitate with this shot?
You know, I'm the only man here. Why don't you take me first? Let these ladies get another brief grasp and breath of freedom.
They all would have one sentence to give their reasons why they should live, and he had said that he should die, but that was all right. Next, Gertrude Rose played her case.
Please, Haroop, allow me to be the star that I was born to be, and you can be my understudy.
And then Princess.
Haroop, I'm the one that sent you over here with me. I'm the first to acknowledge that you were somewhat ladylike.
That was all of them. Oh, no, Somerville, of course, as well.
I should be the one to be killed. No one really notices me anyway. I've hardly made an impression on society. I'm not interesting. I'm not much to look at. Goodness knows I've hardly got a thought in my head or an opinion that anyone would care to listen to. Why, I remember when
Suddenly
I was a
the cannon
girl.
went off. And as the smoke cleared, everyone looked around and patted their own bodies to make sure they hadn't been decapitated. And indeed, none of them had. Just one simple thing had changed. Why, Gertrude Rose had been holding the Maltese circle in her left hand during the whole affair. And now it was simply a Maltese fragment. It had been blown to bits by the cannon. The royal lineage had been broken.
That's right. I did a shoulder check right into her root from behind when she wasn't looking.
Chip! Welcome back, chum. Quick, splash kerosene on her legs. I'll explain later.
It won't soak into my fur because it's not there anymore.
No, but your legs are freshly shaven, and I imagine this is going to sting.
Yeah.
Ha-ha!
Just then, the police burst in.
Well. What have we got here?
Captain O'Malley!
He had gotten the signal that of course, Clark had sent earlier.
Here we are. Arrest 3 out of these 4 women.
All right. 1, 2.
Nope, not that one.
There's only 2 women.
What? No, the big one's a woman, too.
Well, and there's only 3 people here.
No, the shadow is also a dame.
Oh!
The police carted them all off,
Get into the paddy wagon.
leaving Clark Wimbledon with Chip Jackson to review the case they had just solved.
Well, Chip, it looks like another case of dames wanting a little too much.
We certainly got out of that sand trap.
We certainly did, but I'm afraid I had to wedge a little too close to the water hazard.
Chip Jackson lit a congratulatory cigar. Wait a minute, lit a cigar? Kerosene?
The kerosene!
Tune in next week for another exciting adventure of Golf Pro Detective Clark Wimbledon. Brought to you by Sinclair's Cocoa, Hassef Shaving Cream, and Carnation Milk, and Milk Delivery. Tonight, the Liquid Radio players were Dave Cox, Kimberly Lewis, Marissa Fanador, Sue Peel, Stephen Bedequist, on Foley, Gary Ray, and Paul Hungerford. On keyboard, Jonathan Green. Up in the booth, Josh and friends. Thank you, Dan Kane, and the ACME Radio Hour. I'm Craig Tollefson. Tune in next week.